Hello. So today we are going to do day 3 of Advent of Code. So the problem today is I'll skip over actually the details, but essentially we have rucksacks and we have elves, and each of them each rucksack has 2 large compartments, and we have the items types of the rucksacks that elves have, and essentially what we care about in a nutshell is the common letter or the common type between the rucksacks. So let's take a look at the first example. So the first rucksack has this, and the second one so basically for each rucksack, since it has 2 compartments, we want to get the common letter between the 2 compartments, and each compartment has just half of the letters. So this one half is, the first half is this, the second half is this, and the common letter between them is P. And by the way, we consider that uppercase letter are different than the lowercase one. Okay. And so if we get the second example, the first half is this, the second half is this, the common type is L, or the common letter. And here for all of them each, the common type. Now, once we get the common type, what we want to do is we want to add up the priority of each of the common types. And how do we calculate the priority? It just says that for the lowercase letters or the item types from A to Z, we'd give them priority from 1 to 26. And for the uppercase one from A to Z, uppercase, we want to give them from 27 to 52. So you can see it's pretty much just the index in the list of alphabet letters plus 1, right? So index of A is 0, the priority is 0 plus 1. The index of B is 1, the priority is 1 plus 1, 2. The index of A uppercase is 26, plus 1 is 27. So we can just use the index in the alphabet letters to get those. And then we get the total of all of them, right? So let's just do this. Actually, I have the input here. And so we can just separate it by a line, a new line, right? So first, let's just do the reading of the input file as always. So that would be just opening day 3.txt and then error. And now we want to read. And then we want to split it by new line, right? That will give us the lines. And first I'll just do part 1 and print it. So part 1 is going to be passed lines. Okay, so let's define part 1 here. It gets a list of lines. And what we need to do is just calculate the priorities. So maybe we call it total 0. And we want to go through each line, and each line would have like 1 rucksack that we want to divide by half to get the first and the second compartment, right? So we need the half of the length, right? In the first compartment, let's call it C1 and C2, each of them is the first one is the lower half, the second one is the upper half, right? So to get that, we just do in Python up to H, and then for the other one is from H upwards, right? And now we want to get the common letter between the 2, right? In Python, we can easily do that if I just do Python here using a set, right? So let's say, for example, we get a set of A, B, C. Okay, let's call this S1. Okay, and let's have another set that is maybe C, just have C in common, D, E, right? And maybe F as well, right? Just to show that the length doesn't matter. Now, we can get the intersection with the set easily in Python, and that would give us exactly what the common letters, right? Because intersection is the common letter. So in Python, intersection, you can do it with this or literally with data intersection, right? But we'll use just end here to give us the intersection. And so that gives us the exactly common letter, right? And so how do we get this? Because you can see it's in a set. It gives a set as a result. Well, let's call this first S3, right? And we could just use our pop and pop will give us the letter. There are other variations you can use, like convert it to an iterator and then just use next to get the last one. Okay, because we already popped it, so we need to first initialize it. So you could also do that. You could also convert it to a set, to a list, and then get the first one. Yeah, but we'll just use this one since it's easier. Okay, so we get the two. Now we just need them to be a set, and we need to get the intersection. And then from this, we'll just pop to get the common letter, right? Let's call it C. Okay, so now all we need to do is get the priority. How do we get the priority? We said that priority is just going to be the index in the list of letters plus 1. So how do we get the list of letters? In Python, we could either use, so we have ASCII lowercase, I think like this, lowercase. We need to import string first. So that gives us all the lowercase letters, and uppercase gives us all the uppercase letters. So we could either do something like this, we just add them together, and from there we could just use the index plus 1, right? Because A is 0, index is 0, and the priority is 1. Same thing B, index 1, priority is 2, 1 plus 1, right? A here, index is 26, priority 26 plus 1, right? 27. So we could do that, or there is also like, I think ASCII letters should give us the same thing. Right? So we'll use this just to make it short. But since we want the index, we don't want to each time do string.ASCII letters that index of A, right? Or index of, let's say, a capital B, right? And then do plus 1. Instead, we want something. This is over, and we want something quicker. So we can use a map first to just get a collection to get first all the indices. So how do we do that? Let's first just call this A. So what we can do is actually just get the index, and A and I is just enumerating. Okay. So that will give us, okay, I just flipped the order here. The index should be first. So we get the index of each one. But since we already have this, let's just make it priority instead. So what is priority? It's just that I plus 1, the index plus 1. That's the priority from the problem. Okay? And so we could actually just use this and create it once and use it for every time. And so let's call it priority. So let's call it P. And this would be I plus 1. And this here is just string.ASCII letters, right? So let's just import string, and that should be it. And now we can just do total is just the priority of C. Okay, and then we can return total. Okay, now let's run this, make sure it passes, day 3, and we get this. Let's make sure it's the right answer. It is. Okay. Now let's do the second part. So the second part, again, I won't read all the details. Feel free to do that. I'll just give you the gist of the problem. And the gist here is that in the input, we are getting a group of 3. Here we want to get a group of 3. So we get these 3 together first, these 3 together second, these 3 third, and we want to get the common letter between them, or the common type. So for example, if we take a look at here, the common between these. For the first group, the only type that appears in all of them is the lowercase r, right? So it appears here, it appears here, it appears here. So that's the common one, and so we wanna take that one and get the priority. For the second group, the common one is Z, I think. Yeah, Z. Yeah. So it's common one here. It's here. It's here as well. So we want to take Z. So Z priority is 52. So 52 plus 18 for R is 70. Okay. And so we want to get the sum of the priorities of all the common types of each of group of 3 from the input. Okay. So let's do that. So again, we need just a function for part 2. Lines. And we wanna, so total is equal to 0, and we wanna return that at the end. But we want to get a group of 3s. So how do we do that? Well, group of 3s is just going to be, for each time we go from I to I plus 3 to get the 3 ones, and I is going to be just the range, start from 0 and add the number of lines. But every time we want to increment it by 3, because every time we want to take 3. So first it's at 0, then it starts at 3, because we get from 0 to 3, starts at 3, then we get up to 6, so 3, 4, 5, and we start from 6, and you get the idea. We'll keep going. And now with these groups, we want to, for each set of 3 of them, we want to get, so for each group, in these groups, we want to get the common type, okay? And so again, we'll use the same thing we used here, a set. So we just need to get the set of group. This group will have 3 lines, so we'll just need to get the set of each of 3s and get the common one. So the first group is going to be group 0. The second group is going to be group, we'll just do intersection for each of them like we did in the first one, group of 1. And the last one is the third one, right, which is at index 2. Okay, so once we get the set of all of these, let's call it C. Again, we'll use the same thing here to get the first element. Is the one that we care about. So let's just pop it. And now, I think even the problem says there is only one, so it doesn't matter. We can just use pop. And now we do the same thing we did here to get the priority. So let's call it total plus, and we return it. So pretty straightforward here. And now we can just print it. And let's make sure the result is good. So this is what we get. Let's check. And that's the right answer. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We can just use set intersection to solve this problem. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye.